2, 1. Command has been given. Crank him up.
Let's go.
When I say I don't know, I don't know.
Let's go, baby.
Now, the morning drive.
Buckle up, everybody.
A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
It's a game changer.
I listen to you guys every single day on my way to work.
Well, again, I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on the radio.
You guys are amazing.
What are you doing over there?
I'm going to the top.
The morning drive with Mike Bagley and Pete Pistone.
To the bat balls.
Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90, live and on the air for this Wednesday morning, March 8th, 2023. Mike Bagley here in Delmarva, Studio 1D. We've got Pistol Pete Pistone in the Paisan Palace in Chicago. We've got Sammy and Melvin in Studio 134 of the Beltway Bureau at our nation's capital. We welcome each and every one of you to this Wednesday morning. Happy hump day to you, Triple P.
Good morning, Bagman. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday to one and all. Halfway home on the work week here on TMD, and March Madness is off and running, as well as March Motorsports Madness in the NASCAR world. Got a lot going on. How are you, pal?
I'm doing good. I want to back up for a moment, and you notice in the new Open, we have To the Bat polls that I don't know, for whatever reason, I am fixated on the old Batman series to the point to where I have a season pass in my DVR to where I will go and I'll watch. I mean, I love watching. They're so campy, right? They're
Campy.
They're just so, like, everything gets buttoned up in 22 minutes. And it's the same process that everything happens. You know, it's like they're sitting there playing chess, and all of a sudden, you know, Alfred comes in, the bat phone, sir. And then Adam West comes charging in. Yes, Commissioner. Batman, you won't believe. Well, it starts out with the chief and the commissioner be like, there's only one man who has a resolution for this. And they stare at the red phone with the cake dome. They go over, they hit the button, and it starts to flash. Alfred does this thing. Yes, Commissioner. You won't believe this, Batman, but we have the Riddler back amongst us. We're on our way. They tilt the head up of the thing. They hit the button. The doors open. To the bat polls. I love it. I don't know why, but I absolutely love this.
I'm trying to think of the newer Batman movies, Sammy. They didn't really have bat polls, did they?
No real bat pole action.
Well, there's no Robin, except for that one movie.
Yeah.
That one, and that was rough.
Well, there's
Boy,
two.
that
He was in two of them. He
was
They
in
both
two.
were rough.
Well, you talk about campy. When it really got campy, when they would be like rappelling up the side of a building, and then celebrities would pop out of the windows, right? And it just got to be so random. It's Sammy Davis Jr.
comes leaning out the window. It's like, what are you doing? And then, yes, madam. And
Yes.
don't end your sentences with a preposition. And they keep digging.
Right, they kept walking. Sammy Davis Jr. would pop out. Here come the judge. And next thing, they just keep climbing. It was classic.
I just remember like watching those kind of shows. Obviously, are you when you're talking this, what you're talking about, is that the cartoon version or the Adam West version?
Adam
It's
West.
the Adam West version.
Okay, so I never watched that, but I always watched, like, Saturday morning cartoons for me were big because they had a lot of superhero stuff with, like, Spider-Man and X-Men. I watched that quite a bit. And you were talking about how, like, the episodes were so predictable. I just remember, like, if it was a two-part episode, you know, how will Spider-Man get out of this? And I'm just sitting there, like, as a 7-year-old going, how is he going to get out of this?
Oh my God.
How is Spidey going to get out of this one? Because I don't know what's
And
going
I
to
gotta
happen
wait until
here.
next Saturday at 10:30 to find out.
Poor Mary Jane, the Green Goblin's got her, and Aunt May's sick. Like, golly, what's going to happen here? Like, how is this? This sounds terrible. And then, you know, they always get out of it. Always got out of stuff, and it didn't. I probably didn't realize until I was maybe 12 that, like, the character always made it out okay.
Right.
And then now it's like the reverse, because now they just kill off everybody in television
Everybody gets
shows.
killed off.
And I'm watching.
Everybody gets
we're
it.
watching a show on ABC called The Rookie, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh, this person's gonna die." And Tori's like, "Sam, you're overthinking this. I'm telling you, no one's gonna die this episode. No one ever dies on the show. But I always think
But that's
someone's
part of
going
the journey,
to."
though. It's part of the journey of that show. They're bringing out that emotion in you, and they're creating that. Even though at the next episode, everything's fine.
No,
You
I
know,
think it's
and
just
then we're on to
because I've
something
watched.
else.
I think it's because I watched too much Game of Thrones and HBO stuff, where literally, like, the plot to move a plot is just kill somebody. We'll figure it out from there, basically.
Nobody's immune. Or now it's to the point where, Mike, you said you had to wait for the next week for the show. Now you have to wait a year and a half for the next season. I mean, I love the way some of these shows are, but like this TV show Succession comes back like in 2 weeks. It's been 2 years since the last Succession. I got to watch the last season to catch up with where we are. I got a lot going on here.
Perry Mason, PD, also just recently came
saw
out.
that came back.
Came
You
back
were-
on the
you're a big
HBO
fan of
Max.
that?
I loved Perry Mason, the first season of it. Again, it's that like we're talking
changed it,
about it's gritty. Like
Yeah.
there was something about it. A lot of people died in that one too. Again, I don't know what it is. Being shows that like to axe off people, but they
Gritty.
do.
Gritty.
That's the name of the Philadelphia Flyers mascot.
Right. He's got his own TV documentary coming up on Netflix,
does.
I believe.
Is that like
But
the
you won't
most?
get it for another year and a half.
Is that
Being gritty.
honestly like the most famous? Like I think that's got to be one of the most famous mascots like of all time. At this
Fanatic.
point, at this point now, for like because Gritty is like instilled into popular culture. It seems like
I would say you have the San Diego Chicken, you have the Philly Fanatic.
Philly fanatic.
I think you got Gritty. I don't know who the fourth one would be on my Mount Rushmore of team mascots. I don't know.
I mean, I'm partial to the Indiana Pacers Boomer, the Panther mascot. They used to lower him down. They used to like lower him down from the rafters on like a harness, and then for like the starting lineups and stuff, and he'd jump through like flaming hoops and dunking basketballs and stuff like that. Boomer was the man.
Phoenix had the gorilla. The Phoenix Suns had the gorilla.
They
That's
did.
kind of the same thing. He was kind of cool. That was pretty cool. Cubs introduced a mascot a few years ago, Clark, because the ballpark's on Clark and Addison. It's kind of lame. I mean, it's this bear running around with no pants on, basically. He's got a Cub T-shirt on, a Cub jersey, a hat, and no pants.
Porky Pig in it.
It's exactly right. The kids don't need to see that at Clark and Addison. Come on.
All right, we're gonna get out of this. Let me move on. I saw something else yesterday that I don't know what's going on, but got a little blast here, a little NBC News alert that said that permanent daylight saving time bill gets renewed push in Congress. This
every
came
year.
through every
year.
This happened last year. Well, it was Senator Marco Rubio from Florida who introduced it last year. And actually, it came up during COVID, and it was a unanimous decision. Absolutely. Basically, what this bill is for when we set these clocks forward Saturday night, Sunday morning, we leave them. We do it. We give it the Ron Popeil treatment. Set it and forget it, right? So we keep introducing this stuff into legislation, or into the legislature, but it just fizzles out, right? So Marco, his quote, spectacular. Senator Marco Rubio has reintroduced legislation to make daylight saving time permanent across the country, which he says would end the antiquated practice of changing clocks twice a year. Get it, right? So we keep introducing this stuff into legislation, or into the legislature, but it just fizzles out, right? So Marco, his quote, spectacular. Senator Marco Rubio has reintroduced legislation to make daylight saving time permanent across the country, which he says would end the antiquated practice of changing clocks twice a year. Check. Bingo. Agree. Quote, "This ritual of changing twice a year is stupid." I concur. Yes, we're on the same page. And then they go on, and it was introduced in 1918. I don't know if y'all know this, but we actually instituted this practice in 1918 to save oil and electricity during World War I.
Yeah, right.
Okay. They tried it again in 1974,
They jumped it twice, didn't they?
but it ended less than a year later after 8 Florida children died in traffic accidents attributed to the change. How are you going to put that on the changing of the time? Now, granted, if we lose one child, that's way too much. But
yeah,
how do
absolutely.
you pinpoint that back to?
I don't know.
Well, we changed our clocks, and these kids got killed. How do we do this? I don't understand. You have an extra hour of daylight. You have more sunshine. The gentleman from the great state of Alabama put this spectacularly. It's past time for Congress to broaden its horizons and finally make daylight saving time permanent. With the Sunshine Protection Act, we can shine a light on the darkest days of the year and deliver more sun, more smiles, and brighter skies.
Oh,
It's
my
called
God.
the Sunshine Protection Act.
You know
That's
what?
exactly what it's called.
Blow it out, your, you know what?
I
all
agree.
these guys.
Look,
My
I
God.
agree with him.
We can all find
Is
something.
it that hard? Is it that hard to flip the clocks an hour?
Yes.
Seriously. Why? Why is it that hard? I'm just wondering.
It's just
Why?
stupid. Do you know?
Why is
Petey,
it that hard?
Do you understand?
To me, it makes
all
it like a little different. It like changes it up. Oh boy, we got an extra hour of light. Who
no,
cares?
except this time when you spring forward and you lose it. Do you understand
Okay,
the
but your body
macros?
will adjust.
Do you understand the macros that have to go into this system? When we have to switch an hour of time, the whole thing could go kaput. We could go off the air and everything. I don't.
But just think,
it never happens though
when
because
you-
of quality.
When you change it, though, in March, you don't have to do it again in November. You don't have to do it ever again. You get locked in that one time zone and let her rip, let her eat. Listen, I'm all for more. Give me more sunshine. Give me more. This time, Sunday night? Sunset will be 7:30.
Pete.
It'll still be light at 7:30.
I'm fine with that, but the bottom line is it's darker in the morning, which for me I don't care. I don't see the daylight until 10 o'clock Central Time anyway, so I don't care.
If it's
But
unanimous,
it'll level out, though, as the days get longer, we get close to the summer solstice.
I think here's my two takes on this. One, okay, you want to do it, fine, but to your point, Mike, they've been talking about this forever, every year. Oh, legislature, you know, those people can't get anything done, so that's not going to happen. I mean, come on, be frank, or earnest.
I just don't know what the holdup is. I just don't know. You know, and people say, well, you're losing quality of sleep, and that can produce a health hazard. Okay, you're talking to somebody that don't get no sleep don't get any. Wow, don't get.
I don't get no sleep, honey. I don't get no sleep.
I can't get no satisfaction.
Baggy can't get no sleep.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I was.
Look, just get this thing
Whatever.
through. Just set them forward and just rip the knobs off. Just let it go. Just please, I'm begging you.
You know, speaking of sleep, I have to say the last 3 weeks, I am on this the dog starts barking at me around 9:30. Like if I'm downstairs. So Michelle wasn't home last night. So I was PM. Yes, because he's barking at 9:30. You would hear him. He'd be down here on the show. He wants to go upstairs to the crate. He wants to go to bed. That's his favorite place at night. He goes outside, and I think, quite frankly, he knows if he goes outside, does his business, comes in, we give him a little treat for doing his business, and he knows, lickety split, upstairs in the crate.
Who was he? Is he?
He's not that loud. So I go up with him, right? And I'm telling you, Baggy, the last 3 weeks, I am like, I don't even hear Michelle come upstairs because she comes up about an hour after I do. And I'm like, did you even come to bed last night? That's how good, to your point. I'm sorry that you don't. Man, I've been sleeping like a baby. It's been unbelievable. I can't get up in the morning. Well, I can get up, but man, am I sleeping. I don't know what that means. Getting older,
thank
obviously.
You, Pete. Glad
Sorry.
to hear you get great sleep.
But I don't know. I'm not doing anything different. I'm not doing anything that creates that sleep pattern. I'm just in a groove right now. Let it go. Don't disturb
Listen,
this groove.
I'm not the
Baggy.
only one. I'm getting emails from Brandon Caldwell after 5 o'clock this morning about Press Pass on Saturday, right? I respond. He's like, glad to see I'm not the only one that can't sleep.
He ripped off Caldwell ripped off 3 emails before 5:30 this morning for targets for the weekend, PD, of people to get on for the weekend shows. And
Why is he up so early?
He said he was out. He said he was in. Because I sent him an email because normally I am the only one sending emails that early on because I'm in the studio and stuff. So I sent him a nice good morning, Brandon Caldwell, to the tune of a Good Morning Vietnam, and he said that he was just in bed early last night and had to handle that this morning. But yeah, man, I mean, boom, 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 just ripping them off, dude.
Early bird gets the worm.
And we're talking about emails.
Yeah,
that's what we're ripping off. So the other night,
whatever you
this
guys
was
I don't know.
Sunday night or Monday night. I can't remember which night it was. It was one of those nights. Have you ever had one of those nights where it's like, you know what? Why am I even doing this? Let me just go to bed. I was in bed 7:25 p.m. I was in bed, but I slept all the way until 1:45. And it was, I just got to the point where I'm just tired. I'm like, you know what? Just because what I'm doing, I fall asleep on the sofa. If I'm watching TV, it'll be watching me before it's over.
Yeah.
And it's gotten so bad that I have to set an alarm to wake myself up to go to the bedroom to go to bed. That's how bad it's gotten on the sofa. I don't know why this is. My clock is all out of whack.
You're out of whack.
But 7:25 the other night, shut it down.
I mean, I start dozing sometimes in around 8, like just because if it's been a long day or a long week, especially towards the end of the week, because I'm up at 4. I'm up at like 4:30. I need 8 hours, like around 8 hours of sleep. And I get it basically every night. But like, but if I start falling asleep on the couch, Tori will like hit me and wake me up and be like,
hey,
stay up. I don't want to go to bed yet. And I'm like, you don't have to go to bed. Let me just fall. So now I kind of like doze on the couch and she stays up till like 9:30. And then she like and then we go to bed. But she like, I don't know. It's kind of frustrating because she makes me stay up because she doesn't want to go to bed yet. And I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
You wake up 2.5 hours after me. Like, it's not my fault. I'm tired. Sleepy.
What really is sad is that I have friends that if I'm up in the morning, they'll text me at like 3:30 in the morning. They're not gone to bed yet.
They're coming in.
I'm like, how? Well, no, they're just home. It's like they're not out clubbing or anything. But I'm like, well, I'm a night owl. Well,
night owl?
Insane. That is
That's
insane.
late. 3:30.
That you're going to bed at 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Now, they don't have to go to work till the afternoon, so they can sleep till 12 o'clock.
Well, there you
go.
go.
In the words of my mother, what are you going to do, sleep your life away?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, their clocks are different. Our Fridays are weird because that's the night. So usually I have the afternoon show, and then we'll get done on that and have dinner, maybe a glass of wine or something, and we'll go down here to the home theater. Let's watch a movie. Let's catch up on one of our shows. And it feels to me like I'm like Sammy, sort of. I'm like dozing off. Michelle's yelling at me. What are you doing? What do you mean? I'm up. It's always the argument. I'm not sleeping. Oh, really? Well, what was that noise emanating out of your mouth? I don't know. Friday nights are tough for me.
But like,
Petey,
why are you
I've done
mad?
that. I've done that on your sofa. I've sat down and all of a sudden I'm.
Yes, it's like, yeah, watching Your Honor. What happened? What do you mean what happened? We're already 5 minutes into the show.
She was mad at me. We finished. She read all the Hunger Games books. We were watching that Mockingjay Part 1 and 2. God, those were terrible. But we're watching the second one. And
They weren't
she's
terrible.
like,
They were just long.
She's like, oh, you're falling asleep. I go, yeah, because I'm tired and the movie sucks. Like, what are you getting mad at me for? Just... It's a weeknight, and you're getting mad at me. I've had a long week already, and you're just mad at me for not watching Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2 because PETA's gone crazy, and he wants to kill Katniss now. Let me tell you something real quick. Katniss Everdeen is like one of the worst. Jennifer Lawrence's character in those movies, one of the worst main characters ever in the history of film. Just terrible. Terrible.
You know what, Sammy? May the odds not be in your favor.
No.
For comments like that.
I can't even put up the 3-finger thing because my ring finger it skews to the right. I can't even do the Hunger Games signature. I look like Spock.
I watched all of those because that was an era, time of Mia's life where she was into it. Remember,
she was shooting archery stuff.
She took up archery because of Katniss. So shut your mouth, Sammy.
I'm not a Katniss fan. I call her Kitty Katniss.
Poor Baggy, can't get no sleep.
Bags, have you ever thought about getting a cat for yourself?
Yeah, a little feline.
We've been through this 100 times.
They're self-sufficient.
I can't. No, I'm not coming home here to a stank house with that thing being cooped up for 5 days. Remember, I leave Thursday. I'm back Monday. That thing is by itself. I can't leave it enough food. Well, I'll come back. It'll be 500 pounds.
It's got one of them automatic
crate of food.
You could get one of them automatic feeders for it, and you could get those hairless cats. That'd be great for you.
And besides, it's not just the caring of the cat, it's my absence. The pet clings to the owner. I'm there 2 days. I would be here 2 days a week, and I'm gone 5. So that's unfair to the pet. You can't do that to a pet.
Well, Michelle would like that.
We go through you need a dog. I would love to have a dog.
No, a dog is too much. Dog is too much.
No, it's not. Oh, are you kidding me? I'd love to have like a lab or a German Shepherd or something like that.
I mean, for your travel. I think the cat could be a little more self-sufficient. The dog, no.
I don't want a
is
cat.
Clingy. No?
They're shifty. Cat. You know what? They're shifty and they're shady. I don't like them.
Hey.
I had one cat, Levi.
Yeah.
And he was needy, and we got through it. But I'm a dog dude. I would love to have a dog, but I'm not going to do that to that dog and leave that dog by himself or herself without me there. And they only get 2 days a week. That's totally unfair. Besides, they tear this house to kingdom come when
the dog's
chewing up the carpets and the sofas and shoes and stuff. No. Mm-mm.
Well, I had Tony Pistoni, the cat, and he was a good cat, but he only had the one eye. So, he said, keep an eye out for Tony, and he already was doing that for you.
All right. Thank you, Petey. Coming up, bottom of the hour, headline check number 1. We've also got a TMD 6-pack. I'm going to lay out some topics this morning. We'll chime in with our take, and we'll look forward to getting yours. Coming up at 8:50 this morning, we've got the calendar. Coming up at 9, we'll talk a little NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racing with Ty Majeski of Thor Sport Racing. We'll check in with Ty after 2 races of the 2023 season. Coming up at 9:30, got Pistol Pete's Power Rankings for you. Coming up at 10, TMD favorite Adam Stevens will join us. He's Christopher Bell's crew chief over at Joe Gibbs Racing. We'll check in with Adam as everybody gets set to head west. 10:30. Wanted to chat this week with Jake Garcia. Jake turned 18 over the weekend, ran a truck race and finished 10th. Matter of fact, he couldn't run Daytona because he wasn't old enough. Chase Elliott drove that truck in Daytona. Jake climbs aboard, top 10 finish for McAnally Hilgeman Racing. We'll chat with Jake at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll take your telephone calls this morning at 866-BIT-LANE, and we'll also take your tweets at SiriusXM NASCAR, hashtag TMD NASCAR.